I'm Mike.
I'm Jason.
This is Snake Envy. So we appreciate everybody's feedback. We did a video on this rack system earlier and we got some great questions. So we are going to answer those questions today. First off, just know as we go throughout the video, we're going to show you some close-up footage that'll explain to you exactly what we're talking about. One of the questions, Jason, was how the ventilation works. And so basically the ventilation is on top of where this slides out. And there's actually ventilation front and back.
Yeah.
And then your heat is going to go underneath. Now that is probably going to impact the ventilation below that.
This goes.
So it'll go in between the vents. So basically you have a row of vents in the back, a row of vents, 2 rows of vents in the front. Now, we just took a tape measure to these vents. Are you to the top ones? As you go down and you're into the bigger tubs, the ventilation holes get bigger, and that makes sense. We measured these. What did we get? You're the construction expert.
About a 16th or so.
Yeah. Probably just a shade under a 16th of an inch. It's barely a 16th. How confident are you with like your tiniest milk snakes? Anything gonna get through that? Just looking at it, I cannot imagine.
I can't envision anything getting out.
No.
I really can't. Like, I work with small North American milk snakes, house snakes. That would be tough. Maybe this one, if a baby was in this.
Yes.
Because this is an 1/8. This one's an 1/8 down here.
Exactly.
This up here is more like a 16.
So when you have brand new Neos in the smallest tubs, we're pretty confident they can't get out of these vent holes. Now, you could, and we can talk to the manufacturer too about only on this top row, but you could fashion a piece of screen over these if you had any doubts. It wouldn't be difficult to do. But trust us, these slots are...
We'll show you a measurement.
They're tiny.
Yeah. We'll put a tape up there and we'll show you guys.
The other question we had, and again, we're going to show you a close-up. I think people were envisioning that the tubs kind of sit and slide. But they don't.
No.
Similar to this rack up here.
That's a rail system.
They're on a rail system. And this has the exact same thing. So this is being supported from above. And that way you can take it, most of the way out and leave it. But it's similar to the racks everybody's used to. The tubs are hanging from a track.
And so, looking at this heat panel, you got maybe 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
Which it's gonna radiate.
Yeah, so the gap between the tub and the bottom of each level is where your heat will go in the back. The other question was people were asking us for the exact measurements of those tubs. So we're gonna go ahead and measure them. These are the small ones.
I mean, with the handle, it's 5 3/4 of an inch, or 15 3/4. 5 3/4. But inside to inside, 5 inches, and inside to inside, 14.5.
So 5 by 14.5.
That's a great hatchling.
It is. And the other nice thing about these, yours do it a little bit, but a lot of the tubs that are in traditional rack systems are angled. These are completely square.
Well, they're slightly, but
very slightly.
very slight.
So floor space is pretty equal
Pretty
to
close, yeah.
what's going on up top. So
And so, yeah.
you don't lose as much space with these as you do with some tubs.
I'm just showing them.
Yeah. So that's a nice thing about these as well. They're not angled very sharply.
I like
at all.
that. I've had some angle tubs, and these are going to be the same length as the top ones, but then they're going to be wider. So this is 10 inches wide, inside to inside, 9.25 of an inch.
So we go to 9.25 from 5.5. That's the same one, correct?
It's
No,
longer.
this is longer.
It's going to be the same width,
Same width.
but it's a lot longer.
9.25.
So 25, 24 and 7/8 long, but inside to inside, the actual floor space, 23 and 5/8, and then that's gonna be 9.25.
So basically almost 2 feet long. And now,
Oh, there's one more.
Oh, we got one more. Now we get wider.
This is gonna be the same, 23, 24 and 7/8. This is 14. The actual floor is 14 inches right there, 14 across, 15 if you go outside to outside. So 14.
So
That's
14 by a couple feet.
a good Kluber. That's a good Kluber tub.
Now the big boy.
31 and 3/4 of an inch, or sorry, 30 and 3/4. But inside to inside, 29.5. Inside to inside, 23.
Wow.
That's a 23 and an eighth.
So almost 2 feet wide by just under 3 feet long. So pretty good.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that would be okay putting a bull snake in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe what we'll do is we will measure one of your largest tubs and just see if there's any difference. How many? You're used to probably quart sizes when you buy them. What's your largest one? Do you know?
Well, these are 70 quarts.
70 quarts.
These are a standard. That's pretty standard. You know what? This is only. These 70 quarts are only an inch longer. than
Only
that.
an inch longer than that.
And they're much wider. That's 16 wide. The other one, that big one's 23.
23, yeah.
So that is big. That's, I don't know what quart size that would be equate out to, but it's
Yeah.
bigger than the CB70.
It's bigger than a 70. We know that for sure. Now, don't you have some over here that are a little bigger
They're
than
the same.
70? They're the same. Okay, so 70 is the biggest one you've got. So bigger than a 70 quart. We're probably going to be in the 80, 85 quart range, I would imagine. 80 maybe. But hopefully that gives you a good idea of what we're dealing with in terms of the specifics that we were asked questions about. The questions were fantastic. We appreciate it. Please let us know if you have additional questions. Anything else you can think of that maybe we want to highlight beyond what we did the first time around.
And we're still working on a few little glitches with the
Yeah.
manufacturer and, you know.
One thing we've learned about this rack system, this, pretty solid. Now, how old is this?
These are ancient. I don't know.
You've
I bought these off of TSK. many years ago.
I've been here when you've had other breeders here, and they all are blown away by these
They're like,
racks
"Oh my
because,
gosh,
oh
this
my
is
gosh,
a-
you still have
this
some
is an
of these."
antique.
Yes, but these are solid.
Yeah.
Now you've got some that are plastic instead of metal.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your racks are the plastic tubing.
Yeah.
So one thing now you're moving these from here into brumation out, so they do get moved.
Yeah. Everything's on wheels.
Everything's on wheels. This is on wheels as well. What we are struggling with so far with this rack system, and it's not nearly as tall as the other ones in here, as you can see, it's not holding up to back and forth movement.
It's good, but it's moving it around a lot. They need to improve the
connectors.
the connectors, and they're just
Yeah.
short. We'll talk to him.
So we'll talk to the
Give him
manufacturer
feedback.
about that.
He's asking for feedback, so
But I think that's the only negative we've really come across. And to be
it's
fair,
fixable too.
to be fair, we've taken it apart, taken it to reptile shows, brought it
This
back.
thing,
But
we've moved it around a lot.
it's been moved a ton. It's been in the back of trucks. It's not like it's just stayed together to be moved. So to be fair, it'd probably hold up better if it was always together and just going from room to room.
Yeah, but
But still,
that will be fixed.
yes, we will definitely address that with the manufacturer. All right, so same thing. Like, subscribe. Please let us know if there's any additional questions we didn't answer about this. The other thing now that I'm thinking about it is a lot of people said, well, this seems too good to be true in terms of how they open. So we did fill one with substrate water. We had a snake in
they
there.
glide.
They open incredibly easy, even full. I can tell you now, for you, you've obviously got far more experience than I do with these rack systems, but just from a novice, somebody who's been in here helping Jason, these open and close much easier than most of the ones that are in this room. No doubt about that. So that's not a worry with this setup. Like, subscribe, let us know if there's anything we still haven't answered. Thank you.
Thanks.